Greetings. Today, the moon continues in Cancer, and later in the afternoon, Pacific time, it will join up with Mars, warrior planet of courage and action. And we are moving through the moon cycle that began with the new moon in Pisces. So the sun is coming close to Saturn in Pisces as the moon and Mars are in a trine formation with the sun getting close to Saturn. So a lot of water energy, kind of a lot of interesting dynamics here going on with Mars and Saturn and water signs. I'm Marina Orms here with your Astro Vibe for Saturday, March 8th. And as we look at the Cancer moon and think about caring, right, and self-care and nurturing and what that looks like, as I was sharing yesterday, thinking about giving yourself a metaphorical hug and how the energy of a hug can be very healing, even though it's not like something we can understand why rationally or logically. We just know, right? We just feel the healing power of a good hug from someone we trust. And so as the moon continues in Cancer, it further develops this energy of caring. We look a little more deeply into our feelings, where our feelings are hanging out, what they're saying to us, how they're speaking to us. And as the moon joins up with Mars, forms a conjunction with Mars around 4 p.m. ish Pacific time, we get that energy of that Mars need for action. So combined with Cancer, Mars is in Cancer and the moon in its own sign because the moon rules Cancer. So the moon in its own sign in Cancer joining up with Mars means that the claws can kind of come out, right? The crab claws, the emotional reactivity, the irritability, the prickliness, the snappiness. So when we feel things and we feel sensitive and somebody steps on that tripwire, we might react, and we might, then it's not always something we feel great about. So there can be some of that emotional reactivity. Give yourself patience, kindness, forgiveness, right? I didn't mean to say that. It just came out, right? I'm feeling things. I'm feeling sensitive. I'm feeling vulnerable. Be honest about it. And then also recognize that people around you are also feeling this prickly energy and maybe feeling a little irritable or sensitive without having the language for it. So be patient, be kind, and say, hey, it's okay. I get it. We all get a little sensitive sometimes. No worries at all. So then we've got the sun joining up with Saturn in Pisces, and it's heading toward an exact conjunction with Saturn, about 3 degrees away, and the sun moves about a degree a day. So as the sun joins together with Saturn, we have the need to bring in some hard work, some effort, some willingness to roll up our sleeves, to do what we need to do to make things happen. In Pisces, we are talking about a certain quality of boundlessness, of interconnectedness and transcendence and spirituality, but also the tendency to sort of lose our way, to not know how to orient, because everything is, when you transcend where the boundaries are, where we know how things work, suddenly we don't know how things work anymore. It's like the fog coming in and obscuring all the guideposts and the guardrails that show us where to go and what to do. So when you can't see the street or the road in front of you and what direction it's taking you, you can feel a little lost. So on the other hand, though, that this coming together of the sun with Saturn is also an opportunity to go, hey, if I'm not paying attention to the road that is right in front of my eyeballs, how can I navigate from a bigger picture of understanding? So connecting with what is important on a bigger level and connecting with what that bigger picture of meaning is and saying, hey, I'm going to listen to my higher wisdom that is telling me intuitively what is best for me. And so you kind of have to navigate through the fog with a little bit of intuition, right? Okay, it feels like I should go this way. And right, sometimes that is right. And sometimes we might get a little more lost, but you have to trust that on some level, your higher wisdom knows, and that when you listen to that higher wisdom, it's helping guide you to where you need to be. So this is what I would say about this energy. There is a need to, or an impulse to act from that Mars energy, an impulse, a directness, a spontaneity, a naivete, even in not holding back, in doing something from a place of your gut or from your emotion. And at the same time, there's this need to connect with a bigger picture of guidance of what is true and right for you. And there's not a whole lot of real logic in all of this. It's very feeling based. And so you have to really ask yourself, what am I listening to? What energy am I paying attention to? Am I responding based on my fears, based on my emotion, based on what I'm afraid might happen or what I'm worried about? Or am I responding based on a bigger picture of trust in where the flow is inviting me to go, and able to find that Mars courage to stand up for what I care about, Cancer, by trusting that this bigger picture of the flow of the universe is steering me where I need to go. And so it's like, on the one hand, there's this bigger picture of trust, of allowing, of letting go of control, of letting yourself be guided by some bigger picture forces. But at the same time, watching out for what the shiny illusion or fantasy might be inviting you, right? So there's going to be a temptation there as well that says, oh, if you just believed in this, all your problems would be solved. Come over here. Do you want some candy? You know, that kind of thing. So that's the point, is to watch out for the temptation as opposed to the bigger picture of what is inviting you to really expand into trust in yourself, in the universe, in the flow and the unfolding of things for the greater good. So take that extra moment to ground yourself, to look at where you need some boundaries, where you need to have a boundary to not follow the temptation for the candy and the fantasy and the thing that seems easy, but also at the same time letting go of control and letting yourself be held in this bigger picture of the flow of where the universe is really inviting you to step into and to expand into and to trust. So that's really, it's hard to find words for this kind of thing, right? That's the thing, is just to pay attention, to ask yourself, to be grounded within yourself, to take that extra moment to ask, is this for my greater good? Or is this an easy answer that feels tempting to get on board with? So thinking about that, and it might be a good time to take a step back, right? Before rushing into something with that Mars energy, Take a step back, ask the deeper questions, feel into what is really good for you versus what feels easy and tempting. Okay, hopefully that's helpful. I don't know if it made sense, but I hope I conveyed something of what this energy is, how it's speaking, at least how I am seeing it right now. So hopefully that is helpful. And thanks so much for being here. If you'd like to learn more about your own chart, check out my website, astrologyheals.com, and book a reading for yourself. We can do a reading over Zoom from anywhere in the world, and I would love to connect with you one-on-one. So check that out. And thanks for being here. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. I so appreciate your support, and thank you for being here and watching and sharing with your friends. And I will see you next time with more astrology for unshakable self-care. Bye for now.